everyone, and welcome to the quarterfinals of the StarCityGames.com Baltimore Open Weekend. Cedric Phillips and Craig Krempels here in the booth. Nick Miller down in the feature match areas. We're going to watch Daryl Ayers, #1 overall seed, against Gerard Fabiano, #8 overall seed. It's lands, it's miracles, and we are about to be underway.
And believe it or not, that is Daryl smiling right now.
That is a smile.
That's as smiley as he gets.
Oh, he's serious. Very focused on the task at hand. It's got a tournament that he would like to win here, and he's had a fantastic run of it. Been #1 basically all weekend long. 9-0 day #1.
Yeah, it's been a runaway so far, and he just needs to close it out. 3 more rounds. All that hard work gives him a trophy.
Yeah.
Little check too.
It would be a second open win for him. Wouldn't be bad walking out of here with $5,000 as well. Little invite to the Atlanta Invitational, all that good stuff. These players are going to take a look at their opening hands, and we'll be underway here in just a moment. When we do have updates for our other matches, we will, of course, let you know, as those players are also underway. I can also tell you that Tom Ross finished in exactly 64th place this weekend.
Okay, that's important for him.
That'll bring him 4 more SCG points on his race to be the Player of the Year. Jeff Hoagland currently playing in a Modern Classic at 6-1-1. Looks like he's playing for top 8 this round, so the race is heating up as Fabiano's going to take a mulligan.
Yeah, that top 8 is important.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That is for sure. So as Fabiano does take a mulligan, we'll take a look at what these players are playing for here in the top 8. They've locked up a fine amount of money so far, but I'm sure they'd like a little bit more. We've talked about how first place is $5,000, 30 SCG points, and an invite to our Atlanta Invitational. Well, everyone who's made the top 8 in the elimination rounds this evening will be heading to Atlanta. Top 8 at the minimum is going to be $500, 15 SCG points, an invite to that Atlanta Invitational. Top 4 finalists, so on and so forth. But we'll see who's going to walk out of here with the 5K, the 30 points, and that invite to Atlanta. Gerard's happy enough with the 6. Daryl will play a Mox Diamond, discarding a land in Wooded Foothills. Will sacrifice a Windswept Heath to get himself a Taiga. And we are certainly underway here in the quarterfinals from Baltimore. We'll see how Ayers wants to follow up here.
Yeah, good start so far.
I'm going to call it a great start now.
Oh, yeah.
Given that he does have a life in the loam as well.
Yep, all the pieces.
Foothills and Heath back to the grip, and now we head over to Fabiano. Fabiano will play an island, and he'll simply pass the turn back over to Ayers. Ayers will draw a crop rotation.
Single island, a little less exciting.
I would agree. Only one action before passing the turn back for Gerard. For Daryl, he'll play a Windswept Heath and pass the turn. For Fabiano, he'll play a Plains. And now he'll play a Sensei's Divining Top and simply pass the turn back. We might have a response here. Crop rotation here from Daryl. Sacrificing a Windswept Heath. We'll see if this resolves. Fabiano going to give this thought. Now it looks like he's going to use Force of Will, removing a counterbalance.
Yeah, and we saw Daryl in the previous match go search up his main deck Boseiju and then just do whatever he wanted for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what he may have been on the hunt for there.
Yeah.
Wooded Foothills here from Ayers. He'll go get himself another Taiga as he falls down to 18. And now, it's life in the loam once you get these fetch lands back. That'll work just fine. Fabiano not going to counter that. So mana's not going to be an issue here for Daryl. Fabiano going to spin the top. Take a look at the top 3 cards.
And Daryl hasn't started this game with the exploration or the mana bond that we've seen previously, so he'll generate a lot of card advantage through the life from the loam, but it won't be explosive. He won't get onto the board like he has in some of the other matchups.
Fabiano going to get himself another island. We saw him exile a counterbalance from Force of Will, but he's got another one to play now. And Ayers is going to respond. We'll try to resolve a crop rotation, sacrificing a Taiga. Does Fabiano have another counter spell? The plan here, as we saw against Joe Lisette, is pretty simple. I think it's going to be the Boseiju.
Yeah, I would be pretty shocked if it wasn't.
And there it is. So we'll take a look at Boseiju, who shelters all. The Kamigawa rare that Fabiano is currently reading. We can also do that. And there's the battlefield tapped. You can tap it to pay 2 life and add 1 generic to your mana pool. If that mana is spent on an instant or sorcery spell, that spell can't be countered by spells or abilities. It's a great way to push Life from the Loam through this soft lock.
One colorless mana, right?
That's this one is generic. The Eldrazi mana, I believe, is colorless mana. There's been some changing of the wording now.
Well, generic, in a casting cost, you can use generic mana.
Oh, okay, colorless mana then. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right. I
okay.
apologize.
Just want to make sure we, both understand what we're, I think it's so funny that distinction has been made now in the game.
Yeah, because Magic kind of has a 6th color, but not really, but sort of does.
Yeah.
Windswept Heath.
Yeah, now we'll see what he wants to do with these Life from the Loams.
There's a basic forest.
Yeah, the lands decks don't actually have that many lands to search for with these fetches. Looks like he's got 2 taigas, one forest.
Here's Loam. Get back Dark Depths, a taiga, and a Windswept Heath. So at this point, there's no stopping Daryl from loaming, as Fabiano's going to spin the top. And that's why you see the main deck Boseiju. If you are expecting a lot of miracles at a tournament, this is a way to get around counterbalance plus top. Fabiano going to just play a Scalding Tarn and pass the turn back. Ayers is going to dredge loam again. Grove of the Burn Willows, Crop Rotation, and Thespian Stage.
He's starting to get all the pieces.
Mm-hmm. He will loam again in just a moment. Just wants to figure out what he's going to target. It is uncounterable as he pays 2 more life to do so. Grove of the Burn Willows and a Thespian Stage. Fabiano wants to write those down. Dares will allow him to do so, as Daryl will play a Thespian Stage and simply pass the turn back. Fabiano will spin the top again.
Yeah, and you can see once Boseiju hits the board, all the interaction is taken out of the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Miracles deck really depends on the counterbalance to keep things under control.
Predicts. I imagine Gerard will predict correctly.
Oh, that's so lucky.
Yes, by naming Sensei's Divining Top. We'll take a look at this card. A lot of people might not know what Predict does, as Fabiano does sacrifice a Scalding Tarn and falling down to 17 in the process. Predict is it's a fun one. It's an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah, and it's actually not too uncommon to see 1 or 2 copies of these in some of the Miracles decks. When you have Sensei's Divining Top, Brainstorm, Ponder, Chase the Mind Sculptor, you're going to be able to sculpt your deck however you want, and Predict helps you just churn through it.
When I think of Predict, I think of Adam Prozac, a man who has certainly got a couple of blind predictions correct in his day. He can tell you many a Predict story, that is for sure, as Fabiano will draw a card. He'll play an Arid Mesa. Sacrifices Arid Mesa. Now, one thing to know about Fabiano's deck that's a little bit different this weekend, he does have an Ahiri in the main deck, and he also has a main deck copy of Emrakul, The Promised End. Not the Aeon's Torn, The Promised End, the different Emrakul.
Sure, and if Gerard has the opportunity to just steal his opponent's turn, the lands deck has the ability to blow itself up in spectacular ways.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Here is Nahiri. Up to 6, and says you may discard a card, and if you do, draw a card. So, in response to this ability, the activation of Nahiri, Daryl's going to fire off a Punishing Fire. We will figure out where the target will be.
Well, the target has to be Gerard.
Yes, of course, and then you can redirect.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, Punishing Fire is on the stack, and there will be a counterbalance trigger placed on the stack.
So both of these players have what they want. They're doing what they do. We see a Miracles player with top, counterbalance, and a Planeswalker in play. Lots of lands. We see a lands player with lands in play. He has a Boseiju. He already has a Life from the Loam going. So this is when you find out who's really favored in these matchups, right?
That's what I think, as we're going to see Ayers actually take a draw step there. And he has found a copy of Exploration. Curious if he wants to lead out with that or not. Keep in mind, he also has a copy of Grove of the Burn Willows in hand to get back Punishing Fire.
He's going the 2020 route.
So far. I thought he might consider casting Exploration.
Yep.
If it resolved, then he could play another land. But
sure.
For right now, yeah, I'm with you. He is going the 2020 route.
It's not a bad route to go.
There are worse ways to play a game of Magic. Nahiri. He's going to go up. Will Fabiano discard this time? It looks like the answer is no. Just going to play a Tundra. Thespian Stage plus Dark Depths means a 2020 is on the way here for Daryl Ayers. Well, it's put up or shut up time for Gerard because can't really do much about this.
Well, yeah, he can Swords to Plowshares. He has the top, so he could potentially get it with a Terminus.
The point I'm trying to make is he has to have an answer. Can't,
oh yeah.
Can't take a hit from this.
No.
Say that. This is a dredging of Life from the Loam of 3 Ghost Quarters. Here's an attack for 20. Their Swords to Plowshares, Daryl Ayers, is at 33.
Buffers his life total a little bit there.
Yes, it does.
I have a feeling we're going to do this again in a couple turns.
Perhaps.
Yeah, and the big difference between this game and the game that we saw earlier.
Against Joe?
Against Joe, no Exploration, no Mana Bond. So sure, Daryl can rebuy 3 lands every single turn, but he can only play 1, and it really handcuffs him on developing his board.
Yeah, the hope for Daryl is that somehow Exploration or something like that is able to get onto the battlefield.
Yeah. Yeah, he can't Ghost Quarter lock Gerard and make a 2020. You know, all of these things take so much time. And then Nahiri is an impending problem.
Here's Life from the Loam. It's uncounterable. Get back a Ghost Quarter, Thespian Stage, and a Dark Depths. There's Exploration.
You see him play it really quick.
He's hoping Gerard misses it.
Just slide it in there.
Yeah. It's so important for him. You're hoping that he misses the counterbalance trigger. Fabiano has a 1 to reveal its Brainstorm, so that's taken care of. There's a Thespian Stage. And Ayers will pass the turn back. We're going to head back Fabiano's way here in just a moment. Looks like he might spin the top at the end of Daryl's turn now. Yes, he will.
So the Nahiri is going to keep going up here. Next turn, Gerard can lock in that Emrakul. With the pace of this game, things going so slow, Gerard's going to have tons of lands in play. Obviously, an attack from Emrakul is not going to kill Ayers here, but I would think casting it and time walking and controlling the opponent for a turn, not time walking, but controlling the next turn, is going to just be backbreaking.
Seems like it'd be difficult to beat, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Daryl going to play a Dark Depths and just simply pass the turn back to Fabiano. Actually, it's actually going to be a Ghost Quarter. I take that back.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised, but he might be scared of this Nahiri. So he wants to start limiting Gerard's mana, you know, make sure that Emrakul isn't super cheap later in the game.
Ayers might be in a little bit of trouble here. Fabiano spins the top. Now we go over to Gerard yet again. And does he want to ultimate his Planeswalker right now? Looks like he's going to spin the top first. While Gerard figures out how he wants to set that up, I can tell you that Joe Lissette, number 4 overall seed, is He's currently up a game here over Brendan McCarley, number 5 overall seed. That's Miracles versus Grixis Delver. Fabiano going to plus the Nahiri. Engineer Explosives, the discard.
Yeah, he's got a couple of those in his main deck.
You see Ayers is counting the types in the graveyard for Emrakul the Promised End. Players have access to each other's deck lists, so Ayers knows this is something he needs to play around.
Yeah, he knows exactly what to look out for.
Thespian Stage is going to become a copy of Ghost Quarter. Interesting.
Yeah, looks like Daryl's interested in getting really aggressive.
Now here's Dark Depths.
Going after Gerard's lands.
Uh-huh. Fabiano is going to use the Tundra to spin the top, rearrange the top of the deck. We can also let you know that Ian Bazu with Punishing Abzan and David Long playing lands, number 3 and number 6 overall seed, are headed to game number 3. And then Tom Smiley, number 2 overall seed with Bant Deathblade, currently down a game. Jonathan Orr, number 7 overall seed, playing Shardless Sultide. Fabiano going to take a look at the graveyard and trying to decide, is it time for Emrakul just yet? Assuming it's not in his hand, of course.
He's been real patient with the Nahiri, too. He went up the extra time so that even if he ultimates it, it's going to stick around.
Well, it's up to 12 now. And Ayers looks like he's just going to draw a card for the turn. It's a Grove of the Burn Willows. He's going to play a Wasteland. And he's got plans here of going after Fabiano's mana base. That much is clear.
And we'll get a count of the card types here. Clearly, artifact, instant, land, enchantment. So there's sorcery in the graveyard right now. Yeah, Life from the Loam. So I believe we're at 5 different card types right now.
I believe so. We'll take a look at Emrakul the Promised End as Gerard does take his turn. Wasteland taking care of the Tundra. So Emrakul, 1 less to cast for each card type among cards in your graveyard. So for Gerard, he's got a Swords to Plowshares with an instant. Obviously he has lands. He's also got Engineer Explosives as well. So just 3 different card types right now at the moment. So it would cost 10 mana, which is obviously a lot.
Oh yeah, it just counts his own grade. This is not Tarmogoyf.
Correct.
Too many different formats here. Too many different cards.
There's a Scalding Tarn. Emrakul the Promised End, exactly what Gerard is trying to work towards. Now Nahiri will allow him to go grab it if it's still in his deck, and it looks like he's making a move, maybe.
The pump fake.
Yep. Been getting pump faked a lot this weekend. He's unsure.
Yeah, obviously we don't know all the cards in Gerard's hand, but yeah, I'm also unsure. I guess that's where I'm going with it.
All right, Nahiri going up. Island down, draw a card. Ayers going to Dredge Loam. Stage, Chasm, Exploration. Uncounterable Loam. Just wants to figure out how he wants to tap for it. Yeah, he's going to save the Mox time and use a basic forest. It's going to resolve, of course. There's a Thespian Stage, a Wasteland, and a Ghost Quarter. So this is interesting because at this stage, Gerard, I feel like, is a little unsure of what he wants to do. Daryl, it seems like, knows what he wants to do.
Well, he's decided he's on this mana denial strategy. He knows Gerard only has so many basics in his main deck. Looking at the list here, it looks like 5 islands and 2 plains. So, you know, Emrakul is never going to be that cheap.
Ayers having to discard a couple of lands there on his end steps. So now we're going to go back over to Gerard. But Gerard has this Nahiri that he can ultimate at any point, so this is kind of interesting to me. Ghost Quarter is also interesting because it forces a reshuffle. And the question is, does Gerard actually want to reshuffle or not? I mean, he does have a fetch line. He can do it on his own.
Yep.
He's going to get a basic plains out of his deck. But the plan here, it looks like it's pretty clear. I mean, this would be so much easier for Daryl if he could just play as many lands each turn as he wanted to.
Yes.
But he can't do that.
Yeah, I think that would wrap things up really quick.
Yep. Fabiano did float a mana after the Ghost Quarter, so now he's going to spin his top. And now Daryl asking, how many different card types do you have down there? And remember, artifact, miniature, explosives, instants, lands. Don't think any sorceries just yet for Fabiano. Time to draw.
What we do see, 2 of the basics already in Gerard's graveyard, which is very relevant to note with the Ghost Quarter plan being employed.
And 4 on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Looks like Terminus was the discard. Flooded Strand is the land for the turn. Ayers going to copy Wasteland now. Get a little funky with that Thespian stage.
I like it.
Yeah? Time for Daryl to draw. Picked up a life from the loan. Daryl taking a good look at the graveyard now. I mean, the thing that's most important here is he does not want to let Fabiano hard cast Evercool.
Exactly.
That's what this game is really coming down to.
Yeah, all the back and forth, the ebb and flow. It's about making sure you keep track of how many card types are in Gerard's graveyard. There's a Terminus now, which is a sorcery. And limiting his lands when you need to.
He cannot let him ever hard cast, I think, because if he does, Gerard gets his next turn, and then Daryl's well, it's not going to be pretty. Let's just go with that.
Yeah. All these wastelands.
Daryl going to Ghost Quarter of basic plains. Fabiano, I think this is his last land to search for.
Yeah, I believe he has 1 basic left. And he was cracking a fetch land so he can get a duel.
All right.
And the black border dual lands just look a little bit nicer, a little bit cleaner than the white border ones.
They are relatively nice.
If only there was a way to have all your cards be black bordered.
That would be something, I'll tell you. That would really be something.
And I don't mean a Sharpie.
We are going to go back to Gerard, upkeep, go after the Tundra. I love that Ayers is going after all the white sources.
Yep.
Because this is cutting swords.
Yep.
This is cutting Terminus.
Yep.
And it's cutting Entreat the Angels. Fabiano's going to float. And now Wasteland's going to go after the other Tundra. Thespian Spade doing a great Wasteland impersonation. Draw a card.
And yeah, I'm very impressed with Daryl here. Just he understood. He made the 2020 the first time. It got killed. He could have just gone after making a 2020 again. He identified Nahir is already on the board. Emrakul is a potential problem. Let me get rid of the white sources. We can play this long game forever with me doing this. And then eventually I'll just have the ability to make a 2020 without having to worry about anything.
I think what Daryl's checking is the number of white sources that are in Gerard's graveyard at this point. Now, you have Gerard's deck list in front of you. He's got
4 Tundra, 2 plains.
Okay, that's it. I know 3 Tundras are dead. And I think both plains are dead. Ayers will play a stage, pass the turn back. And what this means is that he might just be clear for takeoff with stage plus steps now, with Fabiano having no way to stop him. We might be at that point. Fabiano's going to spin the top.
Yeah, it's tough to cast the white spells without white sources in play.
It makes it a little more difficult. Let's see what we have here.
Snapcaster.
Okay. Predicts. He's going to predict himself. Bye-bye Snapcaster. 2 cards coming for Fabiano.
That puts a creature in the graveyard.
Mm-hmm. Fabiano will sacrifice Flooded Strand.
And it looked like Gerard has 1 Tundra left in his deck.
Okay. That's what the Flooded Strand's probably going to be for?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Daryl's going to shuffle up Gerard's deck. Gerard's going to spin the top most likely. While he does that, and actually he's going to brainstorm, so pardon me. While he does that and puts 2 cards back. Updates here. We got 2 winners. Joe Lisette with Miracles. Number 4 overall seed takes care of Bennett McCarley playing Grixis Delver. Number 5 overall seed, 2 games to 0. Lisette is on to the to the semifinals through the quarterfinals to play the winner of this match. Now on the other side, you got Jonathan Orr, number 7 overall seed with Charlotte Saltai taking care of Tom Smiley. Number 2 overall seed with Bant Deathblade. Pardon me. 2 games to 0. So Craig Krempels, you are 2-0 right now.
2-0.
Yes, you are.
Let's just hang it up.
I'm going to keep it going.
No, cut off the broadcast.
No, we tried that already. We actually unplugged it earlier. so
someone kick out that plug.
Someone actually kicked out the plug earlier, so I don't want to do that again. Not a good idea. Looks like Fabiano resolving this brainstorm, but we could have an Ayers Lisette rematch, which I would love to watch.
Yeah. Have him do it again.
Yeah. Fabiano going to sacrifice that other fetch land now. He's got the white source. It's the last one. If Ayers is paying attention, and that's why he's counted the graveyard so many times, he knows that.
Yeah. Yeah, this is clearly was part of the game plan the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Gerard will spin the top. 2 and 3.
Now, Gerard does have 7 lands in play.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he has 5 card types in the bin right now.
Snapcaster Mage is a creature. Engineer Explosives and artifacts.
Artifact.
Obviously lands.
Land.
Predict is an instant.
Instant. Terminus was the sorcery.
Okay.
So if he can get an enchantment in a counterbalance or the Planeswalker into the graveyard,
should be able to do this.
He can cast the Emrakul.
Okay. Ponders the draw. Ponder in hand, Scalding Tarn the draw. Sacrifice Scalding Tarn. Does he have a land left?
I think he's out. I wonder if he did not realize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's out too. Yeah.
You know, I think, yeah, his thought process was, I'm going to make my land drop, and then I'm going to hard cast the Emrakul.
Cast it for 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, if he had left Nahiri at 8 counters,
oh, that'd be a Planeswalker in the graveyard.
he could have ultimated it to get it into the graveyard. Or he could have done that a couple turns ago, just gone down with it one time.
Uh-huh. Good point, good point. Really good point. Well, we got another result for you, David Long. He doesn't lose very much when he plays lands. He just won again. Craig, that makes you 3 for 3.
I am running hotter than the sun.
Yes, you are. He takes care of Ian Bosley playing Punishing Abzan, 2 games to 1. So now we got 3 players in limbo, and we got 1 match to finish here in the quarterfinals. Looks like Fabiano's going to shuffle with this ponder. He'll draw a card. Ayers is about as cozy as he can be.
Yeah, he's patiently waiting for this.
Uh-huh.
You know, he looks like a man who knew how this was going to play out starting 6 turns ago.
Yes, he does.
You know?
Yes, he does. Terminus down. New card here for Fabiano from Nahiri. Ayers just going to take a draw step. He is fantastic to watch.
Going down to 27 life.
Doesn't even consider making it 2020.
Just needs to wait one more turn.
Yeah, he just needs to kill one more white source, right? I don't have to make a single move.
This is a very well played game.
Loam resolves. Pasaju's going to make it resolve. There's Wasteland. Wasteland, he's got Nigh for a Tundra. I don't think Gerard has a way out of this.
Yeah. I think the 2020 is coming down next turn.
Vendilion Click. Going to put swords on the bottom of the deck because he's probably not going to be able to get the opportunity to cast that again. Curious to see when Ayers is going to make. Yeah, he's going to make his move with Wasteland right now.
Yeah.
All right. Gerard's out of white sources now. And stage depths 2 mana just staring Gerard in the face. Fabiano will draw.
That click is back. It can be on chump block duty for a turn.
Going to discard an enchantment.
All right, enchantment in the graveyard now. +1 card type.
Yep. So that's 6 card types. So Emrakul should cost 7 right now.
Yeah. Need a planeswalker in there.
Mm-hmm. Fabiano going to brainstorm. But Fabiano also doesn't have any more mana.
No, yeah, this is it for the rest of the game.
Yeah. There's a Flooded Strand. Ah, I'm going to try to bluff, huh? That's not going to work. Daryl's going to make his 2020 and get after you. And he's going to play Grove.
Oh, look at this.
This is a serious masterclass. Get this back. Play Punishing Fire through Besaju. Yep. Kill your Vendilion Click.
Yeah, because if you let Gerard chump block with the click, then here you can get rid of the 20.
Yeah, you're dead.
Yep.
Daryl Ayers. Up a game over Gerard Fabiano.
Really impressive.
Masterclass.
Yeah.
Of how to play a game against Miracles.
Yeah. Just play 1 land every turn for the rest of the game.
Whew.
That's fine. He'll do that.
Take a look at the sideboards here. We'll start with Fabiano with a Hydroblast and Emrakul the Promised End. A Council's Judgment Emote, a Flusterstorm, 2 Red Elemental Blast, a Pyroblast, 2 Blood Moons, a Kozak's Return, 2 Surgical Extraction, and 2 Sabo's Web. Talk to me about the sideboard here for Fabiano.
This gets a whole lot more interesting after sideboard because he gets to bring in these 2 Blood Moons, which are just backbreaking against the land stacks. 2 Surgical Extractions, obviously spectacular against Life from Loam, or just picking off the right land out of a graveyard. And 2 Sabo's Webs, which are going to shut down some of these weird utility lands. Thespian Stage can't be used multiple times, things like that.
Boy, other side of things here for Daryl. That's a really well played game. 4 Frozen Grip, 4 Tireless Tracker, 4 Chalice of the Void, an Ancient Grudge, a Molten Vortex, and a Bazooka Bog. You like anything here?
Well, we saw when he played Miracles earlier that he brought in this whole package with Chalice of the Void, Tireless Tracker, excuse me, and Corrosion Grip. So I expect him to do the same thing here.
Grip is pretty nice. He does have this kind of... So he has a package that we saw against Joe.
Yeah.
But it seems like it might be a little bit different because the matchup is a little different now.
The matchup is a little bit different, but the Chalice of the Void is still going to be very good against the Miracles deck. It doesn't matter kind of which variant of Miracles it is. the Tireless Tracker is just great at being a threat and generating card advantage, and you have to bring in Croson Grips against the Blood Moon Sabo Web opponent.
Yeah, and you know it's coming. So
yeah,
those are the options there for both players. They'll be underway here in game number 2 in just a moment. We are wrapping up Baltimore here. This will be our final quarterfinal match. Semis soon. Finals after that. We'll crown a champion. We're going to do the same thing next weekend in Columbus, and you can learn more about it right now.
Join us on the SCG Tour November 11th through the 12th for the Columbus Open weekend. On Saturday, play in the Modern Open main event. Every competitor gets a playmat featuring Steel Overseer, plus our latest Invitational Winners token just for playing. The top 8 finishers earn a spot in an upcoming Invitational and get one step closer to the Players' Championship. On Sunday, it's your format, your tournament, as you choose between Standard and Legacy Classics. All participants get an Invitational Winners token, Standard players receive a Dark Salvation playmat, Legacy players receive a Sensei's Divining Top playmat, and the top 4 competitors in each Classic qualify for an Invitational. There's plenty more to do in Columbus. All weekend, play in side events and earn tickets to spend at the SCG Prize Wall. Between rounds, meet the weekend's special guests, Magic artists RK Post. And don't forget to tune into SCG Live as Chris Van Meter, Andrew Boswell, and Nick Miller bring you coverage all weekend long. The Columbus Open weekend is November 11th through the 12th. Step into the spotlight.
November 12th and the 13th. Little modern action. Come on down. Get yourself a Steel Overseer playmat. Play some Magic. Find a format you like. We'll see you in Columbus next weekend as these two players will keep their opening hands at Sensei's Divining Top here for Gerard Fabiano. For Daryl Ayers, he will sacrifice a Wooded Foothills. Fall down to 19. We'll see what land he wants to go get. Basic Forest.
Okay. A little Basic Forest.
Yeah, probably already thinking about Blood Moon.
Sure. He seems to always be one step ahead here.
Yeah, he does. There's Exploration. We'll see if this resolves. This one made last game really easy.
Yeah.
It's in there. Horizon Canopy. Pass the turn back. Let's go to Fabiano. Well, he's got a counterbalance, doesn't he? No, he's actually got a Sabo's Web. So let's take a look at that.
Yeah, this is one you don't see a whole lot.
No? Croson Grip there for Ayers. 2 mana. When Sabo's Web comes into play, draw a card. Lands with an activated ability that doesn't produce mana, don't untap during their control's untap step. So here's looking at you, Rashad and Port, Horizon Canopy, Maze of Ith.
Thespian Stage.
Yep. Speaking of which.
You had me at draw card.
Invasion Rare. Daryl looks like with multiple grips in hand.
Yeah, and it looks like he's thinking about playing the Chalice here, which I like.
That's what you're going to get. See if this resolves.
Yeah, he already has his Exploration on the board.
Remember, the nice thing for Daryl in a matchup like this, there's some cards he can just get out of his deck. Force of Will, exiling Force of Will is going to take care of the Chalice. But a card like Maze of Ith, that's out of here.
Yeah.
You know, Tabernacle's gone, Glacial Chasm's gone, so most likely.
Yeah, well, and if he wants to leave one Maze of Ith in the deck, he can, and he's got a lot of tutor options for it. He can rebuy it with Light from the Loam.
Another Sabo's Web. All right, let's get a little interesting.
Yeah, the second one, a little more problematic.
Molten Vortex the draw. Awkward. A little bit. Ayers going to take 1 from Horizon Canopy to play a Life from the Loam to attempt to get back a Wooded Foothills. That's good. He'll play it. That goes there. There we go. Chalice, you stay in the graveyard. And now we're going to be going back over to Fabiano here in just a moment. He will draw a card. Land number 4 is a Flooded Strand. Now Gerard will spin the top.
Now my question.
Hopefully I have an answer for you.
Is Sabo's Web and Blood Moon both on the board a Nambo?
No, I think that's a combo. I believe that's a combo.
Well, they lose their other abilities.
That's true. Oh, okay. I would actually,
right?
I would have to ask a judge because it feels like a layering thing, and I am no judge, so I will have to ask one. We'll see what happens if it comes up. How about that?
Oh yeah, I'm sure we will.
Yeah, because I'm sure Daryl or Gerard will have to ask.
Yes. Well, I would bet that Gerard already knows. He's put both of these cards in the sideboard. He knows that lands is a big part. Not a big part, but definitely a solid part of the metagame.
There's a Dredge from Ayers. He wants to get back Ghost Quarter and Wooded Foothills. Fabiano going to spin top in response to that. Apparently it's a non-bow because they are still non-basics.
What does the... Well, Sabu's Web doesn't care if they're non-basics or not.
Well,
Sabu's Web cares if they have non-mana abilities.
Sure.
Which they lose.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Because now they're mountains and they would untap.
We'll find out when it comes up.
Okay. So Life from Rome still on the stack here.
Yep.
Gerard put a top spin activation on the stack, then drew putting the top on top, and now is resolving the top spin activation after fetching to shuffle away the top.
All right, those cards are back now. And now Loma's going to resolve. So Ghost Quarter and a Wooded Foothills are back.
Yep, 2 land drops for the turn.
Mm-hmm. And there is a Taiga. And now here's an attempt at Molten Vortex. Now maybe the plan is to burn him out. That resolves. We go over to Fabiano. There's top again. You see Molten Vortex. Red mana to play. A red and discard land cards the activation cost. Molten Vortex deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Wasteland, Gamble, and Chalice of the Void are the cards that Ayers has dredged here. And you might continue to see him go loaming in just a moment.
That's what it's looking like. So in Gerard's seat, he really wants to find an engineered explosives at this point.
Oh, that would be useful.
It'll clean up both the problematic enchantments.
Mm-hmm. Daryl looking at that Ghost Quarter now. Curious what he wants to do with that. Ghost Quartering himself is somewhat in play, but it looks like he's going to Ghost Quarter Fabiano.
Okay, yeah, he just wants the Ghost Quarter in the graveyard. So another land to rebuy with Life from the Loam.
It also takes care of a red source of Fabiano's.
Yep.
Though by taking care of a red source, it is giving Fabiano a white source that he may not have had. Daryl now has Loam, so he's going to get back. Well, we'll see. This is the most indecisive he has been since we've watched him play.
Well, and once again, he clearly has a game plan. That's what I've enjoyed about watching him play. It's these 2 Sabu's Webs are on the board. They're shutting down some of his lands. Mm-hmm. He has ways to answer it in his hand, and he just, he's basically said this game, I'm going to ignore those. I'm going to find a different path to victory. And the Croatian Grips are now going to be an insurance policy against other things like Blood Moon.
Fabiano spinning the top. You saw him Force of Will the Life in the Loam there, moving a Brainstorm. Land is a volcanic island, so he's got his red source again, but he's got no Blood Moon to play. So now we are going to go back over to Ayers, who's going to dredge Loam, Wasteland, Dark Depths, Exploration.
Yeah, we're going to see the same thing.
Gonna try again.
Yep. Include the Wasteland this time.
There's Ghost Quarter as well. And another Wasteland. See if this resolves.
Yeah, Gerard's running out of Force Wills here.
Can't counter it forever, especially if he finds that Boseiju. Wasteland, Ghost Quarter.
Yeah, we were talking about engineered explosives being important. Just as good would have been the surgical extraction.
Yeah, for sure.
That solves the problem.
Yep. Air's going to pass right now.
Often you'll see these Miracles players have Rest in Peace. Side out my Snapcaster Mages if I'm going to play Rest in Peace. Gerard being on the Emrakul plan doesn't want to sport Rest in Peace and just eat the graveyards.
Yeah, that's actually very true. Being on the Emrakul plan of I want to hard cast it. That's the big one too. Hitting with the Hiri is
yeah.
He had a million opportunities to do that in the last game. Wasteland taking care of the volcanic island. Now we go back over to Gerard.
Yep, that's the second red source.
Fresh out now?
Yep.
No basic mountain.
No mountain.
Yeah. All right, don't have to worry about Blood Moon now. Now here's Brainstorm. Scalding Tarn, pass the turn back. Gerard not doing much of anything.
It's a tough spot for him.
Crows and Grip, Grove of the Burn Willows, Tireless Tracker. I think we're going to see Daryl cast a Loam here in just a sec.
Yeah, I mean, Gerard has the Sabo's Webs, but they're not. We've seen Daryl just position himself to work around them without too much difficulty. And, with the Exploration in play and the Life from Loam going, Daryl is able to both develop his own board and limit Gerard's mana at the same time.
Might see Ghost Quarter here. He's got a Wasteland again. It's going to... All right. Gonna Wasteland himself.
Yeah. Sometimes you want the card back.
You're doing good if you can do this. Yeah, he's already played one land in Wasteland. There's Horizon Canopy, the second land for the turn.
Yeah, and at some point you can decide to just turn on this Molten Vortex.
Mm-hmm. Here's Snapcaster Mage. That just dies to the Vortex. That doesn't matter a ton.
Let's Gerard Brainstorm again.
Yeah. Gonna go after Basic Plains. Daryl says, I'm going after your white sources.
Yeah, we've seen this before.
We have. Ooh, another one.
Well, that's all of those.
So 2 planes in the deck. That means some number of Tundras left. Don't think he's actually found one so far this game. 2 and 3 for Brainstorm. 2 cards will be going back here in just a sec. Okay. And now spin the top, because he gets to see 1 card further down. Pretty fast keep. Sacrifice the Scalding Tarn. Fall a little bit lower. Get a Tundra. Right.
Wasteland is happy to see that bad boy.
Yes, it is. Is it a marathon that Fabiano can win?
Yeah, I mean, Gerard's in between a rock and a hard place here because if he fetches for the dual lands, Wasteland just gets them. But if he fetches for basics, it means when he gets Ghost Quartered, there's less basics in his deck that he can search for.
Split sleeve here. So Fabiano will get that replaced, and we will go back to shuffling his deck. There we are.
And Daryl's in a position where he can dredge Life from the Loam every turn to make sure he's got tons of lands and still draw a card every turn with the Horizon Canopy.
Another Tundra. Snapcaster Mage coming in. Take two, sure.
Yeah.
Dredge Loam. 1 is a crop rotation. 2 is a Thespian Stage. 3 is Mox Diamond. What do we have this go around? Wasteland. There goes a Tundra. Wasteland. There goes the Tundra.
It's not really fair.
No, it's really not. Not a lot you can do.
Yeah.
That's it with a Crows and Grip in his hand the entire game, too, that he hasn't had to use.
Well, he knows the only way this game plan gets interrupted is if Gerard gets the counterbalance top online.
Totally true.
And it looks like he's thinking about just getting that top here.
I think he's thinking about just getting the top because, like, Gerard just doesn't have a lot going on, you know? So you kind of want to snag it. There's Loam. Stage. Ghost Quarter. Depths. Now you can start threatening this.
Yeah.
All right, that's 7 in hand.
Factor Fiction.
Sure.
There's an oldie but goodie.
Yeah.
Oop, and we might see the old 4-1 here.
Yeah, Surgical Extraction versus, perhaps. We saw Flame Tongue Kavu earlier. Of course we'd see Factor Fiction. Why wouldn't we? Makes a lot of sense.
All the hits from the 2000s. Yeah, Daryl's a little bit insulated against this Surgical Extraction because if Gerard tries to go after the Life from the Loam, the Horizon Canopy can be cracked at any point.
So now this is interesting because he's saying, all right, you can take 2 swords and a Surgical Extraction. I mean, this is a loud statement saying I don't care about swords at all.
Yeah, you're about to lose another white source here.
And then the Surgical Extraction I feel like I can beat. So this is interesting now to me. Surgical's going to go after what I assume.
Yeah, if the Horizon Canopy's getting cracked, it's got to be Life from the Loam.
I assume it's Life from the Loams. Yep.
So that's going to fizzle.
Seismic Assault, Gamble, and Chalice of the Void were the cards. Dredged. Fabiano's going to come across for 2 with the Snapcaster Mage yet again. That's the easy part. Ayers going to fall down to 12. Now Fabiano, I believe, has a Snapcaster Mage in his hand.
Okay, so if there's another Life from the Loam in the graveyard, he could get it. But if there's not, he's pretty stuck.
Yep. And maybe we get to a point where Daryl doesn't care about losing Life from the Loam, but maybe we do. Maybe we don't, excuse me.
No, I mean, if he can finish off the last couple of Gerard's white sources, he's clear to open up the 2020 monster bin again. Let that bad boy out of its cage for a little bit.
All right. Tundra. Ayers going to go to Loam. Canopy, Wasteland, and Wasteland. Those are the targets. May I have them? Fabiano still figuring out if that's going to be the case. So that's good.
Yep.
Canopy plus Wasteland.
And once again, he's got the Horizon Canopy up as protection against the surgical extraction.
Yep. Discard Wooded Foothills, it looks like, at the end of turn.
Yep.
All right.
No rush to do anything. Just take care of another white source.
Yep.
We've seen this show before.
There's no real reason for it to change. Snapcaster Mage. Using a mana from the Tundra. And now he's going to, I believe, replay a Ponder.
Yep.
Which is what he targeted. And that facial expression did not lead me to believe he liked what he saw here.
Yeah, but he's had a bumpy ride of it, both of these games. So I know that face. I've made that face.
It has not been pretty.
Yeah.
At all. No argument there.
Yeah, I mean, Daryl just has not given him an opportunity. Just a lot of really careful play, super patient play.
He's doing a nice job using his life total as a resource. There have been spots where he could say, I'll activate Molten Vortex to kill the Snapcaster Mage. We haven't seen him take the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, just no rush.
All right, draw a card. Wants to take a look at the graveyard here.
It's confirming the white sources at this point.
Yeah, that's the best part. It's like, I don't really care about the spells. I just care about what kind of lands you have left. There's Ghost Quarter. That's a Wasteland. And he'll pass. Fabiano going to spin top. It's been a long couple of games, but they've been fun.
Yeah, this has been a really good match. Just watching Daryl do what he does, you kind of feel for Gerard in these positions where you're just like, this is a tough matchup, and this guy's just playing flawlessly.
Yeah, it's not often that Gerard might be outclassed in a game as far as maybe like a matchup is concerned, but I think we might be there. Basic Island here for Fabiano. You saw him draw a card with top, so he's going to shuffle it back in. He added a card to his hand, top one back on top of his deck, and then Island out of the deck from the Ghost Quarter. Fabiano will untap with 4 basic islands on the battlefield. He'll draw a card. Here come the Snapcaster Mages. Is it time for Molten Vortex? Yes, it is. Discard Windswept Heath. Looks like he'll take 2 from the other one.
Got to look out for that life total, but only so much.
Okay, finally. Engineered Explosives. Things change a little bit now. Molten Vortex will take care of the other Snapcaster Mage using Dark Depths. And now Daryl will lose the Molten Vortex and the Exploration. We're going to head back his way. It's not going to be as easy as it once was. Wants to know the white sources. What are your outs? Will we see him dredge or draw? He'll just draw. I think he may have just drawn Tireless Tracker.
That's what it looked like.
Good draw. If it resolves.
Yeah, Gerard's already used 3 Force of the Wills this game. Casting 2 of them, and one of them was removed to another one.
There's a stage, brings along a clue.
The only reason I was excited for this weekend
No clues?
was no clues.
Sorry about that whammy.
Yeah, I'm going to have a talk with Daryl about this.
All right.
Like, there's got to be some better sideboard options here.
Yeah, no trackers, please.
Listen, I'm sure I could figure it out better than he could.
Fabiano going to shuffle with the ponder.
I'll just explain my case, and I'm sure he'll be receptive to what I have to say.
Most likely.
Yeah.
You could help him improve upon what has been basically flawless play through 2 games.
The perfect weekend?
Yeah.
I could do better.
Yeah. Daryl's going to dredge now. 1 is a depths, 2 is a loam, 3 is a tireless tracker. He will get the loam back to the grip. Here's a Vendilion Click. 2 grips, a vortex, and a loam. Pick a card, any card.
Yes, it all works here. You know, Daryl's already picked apart so many of Gerard's lands.
The best part about this too is if he takes the loam, Daryl just dredged 1, I think.
Did he?
Yeah, so he can just replace his draw step from Vendilion Click with dredging another loam, so it's totally fine. So Molten Vortex is going to go to the bottom now. He will just draw a mystery card, which is a Dark Depths, pretty good draw.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fire in there, Tireless Tracker. Show him who you are. Go get him.
Gerard's going to take it.
Yeah, Fabiano's going to go down to 11.
I feel like if there's any way for Gerard to win this game, it's going to involve that click.
I think so too. I think he's got to deal the last 8 points of damage with that 3-1.
But I don't think it's happening.
Neither do I. Fabiano will draw a card. Another Source of Plowshares. I think he might have all 4 in his hand.
Yeah, it looks like he's brought a play set to the table here.
Time to 2020 up, maybe.
Let the big boy out for just a little bit.
Well, the worst part about this for Gerard is he's got to deal 8, and if he does draw a white source to be able to Swords to Plowshares, the 2020.
Yeah, he's got to deal 28.
Yeah, he's got to deal 28, so it's lose-lose.
Yeah. Yep.
There's no good that's coming from this. That's Jace. Okay. Time to brainstorm. It's pretty rare that one doesn't care about a Jace, but I don't know if Daryl cares about that.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yep. Go get him.
Yeah, right now Gerard has chump block for a turn and then bounce the 2020.
Well, the tracker goes after the Jace, and the 2020 goes after
of course.
him. Yeah.
Of course. There's
So
a tracker still on the board.
Yeah, so he doesn't even have that great of a line.
Yeah. Yeah, this is... Daryl's just he's positioned himself to have the answer every time. And it's not just because he's gotten lucky. No.
No luck here. Here's a life from the loam.
He's just played it brilliantly.
Yeah. This is why I sit in here now. I'm not going out there.
Yeah, imagine showing up trying to do battle with that.
Yeah, I'm good. I'd rather watch anyway.
Yeah.
Loam resolves. This is a stage.
Doesn't miss the clue trigger.
No. In case you're wondering, there's a Jace. We're watching Daryl next round. There's no, I'm making that decision.
I like it. Daryl just picked up and tossed aside his 2020.
Yeah.
I think Gerard might have one white source left in his deck.
So he's got to try to find that. Here's a brainstorm. Yeah, that's going to do it. Daryl Ayers, win isn't strong enough. What he did in this match against Gerard.
So
Fabiano.
impressive.
Lands defeats Miracles 2-0.
Really picked him apart on every angle.
Goodness. My goodness. Joe Lissette, you got to deal with this now. And you didn't fare so well the first time, my friend. See if you can now. Whew. Daryl Ayers, to the semifinals we go. This is his